Welcome back to Face Off. We're discussing decentralization with our guests, Michael Bliss, Professor of History at University of Toronto, and Gordon Gibson, author and former leader of the BC Liberal Party. Gordon, you know, I really want to take you on this thing about the provincial governments being closer to the people. I mean, I've worked as an advocate for many years, and I can tell you, one, from the advocate's point of view, sometimes the provincial government's more receptive and sometimes the federal government's more receptive. But more to the point, we've had at various times in various provinces the most corrupt governments I can think of at the provincial level. I mean, just because they're at the provincial level doesn't make them good government. I think that's nonsense.
Absolutely not, nor does being a mayor make you good government. But the reason advocates love Ottawa is because it's one-stop shopping. And if you can sell your program in Ottawa, you've got it done. Whereas if you have to sell it in 10 different provinces, it makes it a lot tougher.
Yeah.
You know, and this really is the laboratory of federalism. If we actually believe in federalism, you know, you can go even further, and I think you should. Decentralization is not just to provincial governments. It's also to municipal governments. This is important to privatization and the ultimate decentralization, which is some of the tools of direct democracy, more use of referenda.
So what you're really saying is you want to see less government.
No, I'm not saying that. I would buy into that.
That's what you should be saying, though. The fallacy of the decentralizers is they don't like government very much, and American conservatives are now into this very much. We don't like Washington, so let's give things to the states. The real position you should be taking is let's give powers back to the people.
But I take that position too.
Don't take one government that's not doing a very good job and then turn things over to 10 governments that do a worse job. One of the problems of provincial governments—
Why do you keep saying they do a worse job?
First, you don't have the media scrutiny of the provinces, so you don't have anything like the accountability at the provincial level of politics that you do at the national level. Secondly, talent is in short supply in Canada, and by and large, you have more talent in the civil service and even in the legislature in Ottawa than you do in any one province.
I don't agree. We just gone through 9 years of the Mulroney Tories. You're talking this is good government?
Compare them to Nova Scotia, and the answer is yes.
But we've had a federal government that has destroyed our freedom of action in this country with all these smart bureaucrats at the center. I just can't buy that.
I agree that Ottawa has screwed up badly, but I don't believe that you jump from the frying pan into the fire. If we're going down, let's go down as one country, not fizzle out as 10 countries.
But why don't we save ourselves as a decentralized country and make it all work?
We won't save ourselves because we'll turn ourselves into the Balkans. We'll Balkanize the country. That's the problem. Decentralization in Canada never ends.
Michael, this country already, come on, let's be realistic. We already are Balkanized in a lot of ways, always have been. British Columbians always considered themselves British Columbians, Albertans. I'm certainly, as Judy says, an Ontario nationalist.
Well, you're the last one, Claire.
Well, maybe.
But who doesn't feel that way? Just a second. Who doesn't feel that way? I'll tell you, I was living in Saskatchewan last year. People in Saskatchewan don't feel that way. They identify with Canada First. People in the Atlantic provinces don't feel that way. And the reason they don't is because they're poor, have-not provinces. And if Canada gets decentralized, they're the people who are going to lose. The people at the bottom are going to lose.
Young Canadians don't buy the decentralization. They want to live in a big country.
We'll just have to see how it goes as elections come along. But my guess is that people do want government closer to home and that it will work better.
And that's why the separatists are doing so well in Quebec, eh?
This is exactly the way to destroy the separatist argument in Quebec. You don't do it for the separatists, but one of the net results of government closer to home is there's absolutely no need for separation in Quebec.
Turn us into 10 countries and Quebec won't have to separate.
Michael,
absolutely.
You keep this 10 country stuff. If you look at the European Union, a dozen or 15, whatever it is now, they have been getting closer and closer together all the time.
That's right. Centralization is in the air in Europe.
No, they're moving towards something more decentralized than us, but they're moving together. This old straw man that if you cut away a few of Ottawa's powers, Canada as a country will disappear. This is nonsense.
But the European Economic Community is not a country. The European Economic Community is a federation of independent countries. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm using that as evidence is saying even at this level of disaggregation, there's still that wish, that usefulness in pulling together. So
why wouldn't we still be? I don't understand your argument to say we wouldn't be a country if we decentralized. We gave provinces more powers, and part of Gordon's idea is to give the federal government more powers in some areas.
For example, we've gone through an era when the provinces wanted to, in effect, run their own foreign policy. When they had embassies abroad, they had their own trade missions.
That's a mistake.
Now, they're starting to back away because of bankruptcy, but that tendency is still there. Once you start down the road of province building, as the Quebecers found out. You just want to go on and build a nation.
This is slippery slope stuff. There's always a warm mug of coffee at the bottom of the ski hill. You don't keep sliding forever, Michael. It can be better there.
You have big ski hills out west.
Well, anyway, power and who should wield it's always a fascinating subject, and the time's come for me to wield some. And I want to thank our guests, Michael Bliss of the University of Toronto and Gordon Gibson, former leader of the Liberal Party in British Columbia.
Face Off has been brought to you by Advantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications company. Notebook computers, copiers, facsimile, and telephone system have been provided by Toshiba. Guests of Face Off stay at the Crown Plaza Toronto Centre.